The Assembly of First Nations is meeting this week for the first time since its national chief, RoseAnne Archibald, was ousted. The drama surrounding her removal consumed debate over most of today's agenda, but efforts to reinstate Archibald ultimately failed. The CBC's Brett Forrester joins us from the meeting in Halifax. So, Brett, an eventful day. Take us through what happened.
Thanks, David. Well, RoseAnne Archibald's bid to get reinstated as National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations appeared to fizzle after the delegates in attendance here refused to modify their agenda and add a resolution that would reinstate her. So it's a little bit complex, and I'll try to break it down quickly, but essentially the AFN has never ever voted out a National Chief midterm, and the group's charter makes no mention of a way for a removed National Chief to challenge that. And the meeting last month in which he was removed wasn't particularly well attended. And so she began to urge supporters to flood the Assembly, thinking that if they brought the numbers, they could reopen the matter, amend the agenda, add a resolution that would reinstate her and have it passed. However, she ran into a wall because the person who moved to adopt the agenda would not accept that resolution. And so she urged the chiefs to just shoot it down, to reject the entire agenda if that resolution wasn't added. Here's a little bit of what she had to say.
The chiefs are being left out of this. And so I'm asking chiefs to stand up and to not allow this agenda to go ahead as it is, because it is a railroaded process that is unfair, that is not allowing for accountability for the political coup that happened against me by the regional chiefs.
So despite that forceful plea, when it did go to a vote, there was not one word of opposition in the room. The agenda was passed as written, and they will not reopen Archibald's removal today. Now, she continued to speak out against the process, so much so that the chair or the co-chairs eventually decided to bar her from attending. And so she was removed from the meeting. She had attended virtually, and she had previously planned or potentially planned to attend. And so she has pledged not to comment and take a minute to reflect about what happens, but certainly it was a rocky start.
Okay, and calling it a political coup by the regional chiefs, that's quite the description. So what happens next at this meeting?
Well, I think they're going to try to get back down to business. The AFN is usually considered to be one of the most prominent and influential Indigenous advocacy organizations in this country, but it is now facing some serious questions about its credibility, its legitimacy, and even its future. One of the big issues is low turnout. As I said, the first meeting was attended by 230 of the 634 chiefs in Canada. Today's meeting at 10 a.m. had 180 chiefs registered, so a very small fraction of those who are eligible. And you have to remember that First Nations people don't participate in these meetings. They do not vote for the national chief. This is a chiefs assembly, and it has to raise some questions about why the chiefs themselves aren't participating, and that's just one of the questions. Archibald had called for a forensic audit. There seems to be some openness to a financial review of some kind. She had called for an investigation into alleged Liberal government meddling in Assembly affairs. So without a doubt, this organization is at a crossroads, and that's going to be top of mind for a lot of people tomorrow and throughout the week.
Okay, so they've got all of that to deal with, but right now, with the removal of RoseAnne Archibald, Brett, they're moving ahead under interim leadership, at least for a period of months. I mean, who's going to run things, and what does it mean for the AFN in the short term?
So in a symbolic ceremony today, Joanna Bernard, the regional chief for New Brunswick, was sworn in as national chief. She will lead the organization into its next election, which looks like it's going to be called for December. Now, she had pledged to try and right the ship and get morale back on track, but she has been a vocal Archibald opponent in the past. She has opposed Archibald's agenda. She has accused Archibald of trying to undermine the AFN executive. So there is a little bit of a history of confrontation there between the two, but she has pledged an openness to conducting the forensic audit that Archibald demanded, if that is what the chiefs call for. So really, I think tomorrow, if they have a boring day, a policy-focused day, and a business-like day, they'll all breathe a sigh of relief, but those questions aren't going anywhere.